Okay, so today I worked a little bit more on the car, somewhat to get ready for tomorrow's engine start, but mostly just carrying along. So the probably the big ticket items this today were prepping the front wing to get adhered to the wing stays, and then fix the speed sensor. So to sort of look back at last session's issues, um, I looked at the turn signal again, and I realized that they are actually working. I just needed to turn the key to, I think, position two rather than just the default, like one position where you just insert the key. I think I was a little bit confused by the fact that as soon as the master battery switch is on, if your headlights are on, all the lights will just come on. So I just assumed that that meant the car was fully powered on. But no, you actually have to put it into, I think, the second position where you turn the key like you normally do when you crank the engine. But this crank is actually a little flip switch on my dash, so that's sort of why I got confused. Once I got the key in the correct position, all of the turn signals worked. So that was a bit of a relief. The other thing today was I had forgotten to connect the fuel line yesterday. That definitely needs to be connected before the engine starts, especially before I connect the fuel pump back on. I don't want fuel just sort of spraying everywhere, so I went ahead and connected that today. Um, then I looked at the underside of the wings. I was told to prep these by sanding down the wing stays down to the raw metal, and then also sanding down the underside of the wings for the paint down to the sort of the raw fiberglass so that um, the Sikaflex, the adhesive, will bond better with both sides. So um, the manual says to stick the wing stay 80 millimeters behind the front of the wing. So I took my calipers and I measured out 80 millimeters and I put a piece of masking tape to delineate where that is, and then I sanded off about a 3/4 inch thick band of paint off right behind that line. I haven't done the rear side yet. I probably will do that when I actually start trying to adhere the wing. And then the other thing was on the wing stay itself. I guess sandpaper would have just taken too long, so I used my Dremel to just sort of grind off the paint on the wing stays, just sort of where the wings would sit. Um, and then I also grounded my winker wires. The kit comes with a self-tapping screw that you screw into the 1/8 inch hole that you drill. Um, I found that screw to be kind of long, and I was kind of worried that the the power wire inside the wing stay would sort of rub against it as I drove and would sort of eventually break or wear down. So instead, I just used a 1/8 inch rivet, and I riveted the ground to the wing stay. Seems to work out pretty good. I did both sides. I turned the power back onto the car and I did the turn signals and both winkers work. So that's brilliant. And then the other thing I did was I needed to adjust the speed sensor. So I turned on the car today, and then I rotated the rear wheel and the speed sensor didn't notice anything. And then I remember recalling a couple of days back, I read that the speed sensor needs to be zero point 0.8 to zero point 0.9 millimeters away from the gear wheel with the teeth that help it measure. Um, if for some reason when I installed the speed sensor, I thought it was zero point 0.8 to zero point 0.9 inches. So I corrected that. I got it much more close. I tightened it up and then I rotated the wheel and I could see that the light on the speed sensor would go on when it could see a tooth. I spin it a little bit more. When the tooth passes, it goes off. That sort of indicates to me that the speed sensor is working. I also just took that chance and tested that the dashboard lights on the tack showed when handbrake was pulled, and that worked out as well. Um, I think that's it. Oh, actually, I did start looking at the well, so I did the trim on the other front wing, the passenger front wing. I didn't use any adhesive on either of them. I'm probably gonna just try to run with it like that for now. It's not the biggest deal if they sort of come off because I can get another piece. I'm not super sure if I'd like the look of the trim or I would rather have it off. The trim is sort of only really necessary in the UK for to pass their IVA test. In the US, we have no such test, and so this is sort of just whatever we prefer. So I didn't glue it yet. I may do it in the future. And then I also started looking at how the rear wing trim works, but I didn't get very far for that. So more on that next time.